So guys, I'm back again, and I was in need of this small screwdriver with flat tip, to take the pivot cup out. And I was checking if the pivot cup, actually this is the one which was inside this, so I was checking if the new pivot cups would be suitable to replace this one, and I found out that the Carver's pivot cups are much bigger than the ones which we bought with the piezo skateboards. Those are for the skateboard trucks. I thought I bought it for the skateboard thing, the other setup that we have. I think that one is of a smaller one. The other Puente longboard hanger which we kind of bought it. I think that truck setup or the thing might have a smaller pivot cup, but this Carver setup seems to be having a bigger pivot cup, and this is not damaged and it's fine inside. And when I tried to use the smaller ones inside and put that, it kind of has a play, when you're doing the carving stuff, and I feel like there is not much angle enough to stop this hanger from hitting the base plate. So I don't want to damage the pivot cup, the hanger per se, because it's really hard to get the hanger of this Carver, particularly from Decathlon. That's where I bought this board from, because they don't sell the spare parts of all these things in India. Unfortunate that we don't get to see them sell all these things. So you don't even get these pivot cups in Decathlon websites. So if they're going to see this video, I kind of asked them politely to sell all these spare parts properly, so that we could get benefited from all the products that they have, completely, to maintain it, to make use of it every now and then. So that's the complete parts of the front truck. Okay, so we have removed everything which is there in front of your eyes. Couple of wheels. The wheels has 2 bearings each, 4 bearings and 2 spaces inside. These are inline skate wheels of 80 EA hardness. We have 2 axle nuts, 4 speed washers which goes on either end of the wheel. Okay, and we have a pivot cup. We have the washers which came with the factory setup of Oxelo Carve 540 Bird Longboard. These are 1 cup washer for the cone bushings, and rest are just washers for the bushings to be seated. Okay, this barrel bushing is kind of big and it's kind of slightly damaged, but it's okay. I know it will withstand for a few more rides. Okay, and let's check the this cup washer which I intended to use for the cone bushings. If it go and fit the kingpin, so it completely fits the kingpin here. You guys were able to see this? Are you able to see this? Yeah, it kind of fits the kingpin properly. So I'm learning along with you guys, okay? If you guys don't mind. So we won't be requiring this custom cup washer anymore. We have the new ones with us, so we are going to be using that. So now, as I feel that we don't have to remove this completely, I'm going to leave that there, and let's go and dismantle the rear truck. Okay, I'll actually place this side so we might be comfortable when I dismantle them. Hope you guys don't mind. I'm going to remove all this and put this aside. Okay, and we'll be with the clean table, focusing only onto the rear truck. Okay, peace. Look at my hands, it's all dirty. It's because of the lubrication that the parts had, and the dirt it has been attracting over 10 months time. So let's go ahead and dismantle this. Okay guys, I'm back again. So I'm going to do the routine. Just going to wipe off all the dust that is sticking to it, the spider webs and all the soft dust that it would attract because of using a ceiling fan. It's very common in India to use a ceiling fan you know, we hardly use air condition here. The climate is always kind of around 30 to 31 degrees Celsius inside our house. You can do the math for converting it to Fahrenheit if you want. So we are fine. We kind of used to this kind of temperature in the tropical land. Okay, so I'm going to dismantle the axle nuts. Hope you guys remember this part. We did it for the front trucks. Anyway, since few of you felt like I'm jumping on things, let me do this neat and slowly for you guys. So as usual, as I told you earlier, the speed washer is sticking to the wheels because of the lubrication. The thickness of the lubrication due to kind of hardened over time. Okay, so this is our wheel, and I'm going to go ahead and remove the other wheel now. Oh, I'm surprised to see like few wheels are like few axle nuts are loose. Comes in a couple of steering, and few are hard. I'm actually surprised. So the other speed washer is still on the axle, which I'm removing right now. And this is another wheel. I personally feel like there is only dust in the wheels, so I'm not going to do the soap wash which we did it for the freelance skate wheels. Those are big and had a very big contact patch, so I don't think this will require such cleaning. I will do the dry cleaning stuff, wipe it with a cloth and stuff like that. Okay, and so will I wipe everything properly and oil them properly. That would do, I feel. So now we're going to the kingpin nut on the rear truck. Yeah, I should say I haven't removed this at all ever. The rear kingpin truck. I probably might have tightened the rear kingpin truck a couple of times, but I never took this off from the factory setup that it came in. So this is the very first time I'm removing it. You could see some friction. So this is the condition of the kingpin nut. I was checking to buy the kingpin nut separately for this setup. It's not available at all. So here's the cup washer of the rear truck. We have the cone bushings. Oops, it's angled and it's tied to this thing. Yeah, it's kind of squeezed. It's in a slightly bad condition. I wouldn't say it's completely bad. Okay, I'm going to reuse the same ones here. So now I have the challenge of removing it. Oh, it came easily. See, this one has a very good seating of the bushings, unlike the front truck wherein this part was slightly less. It's not deep like this to hold a bushing in place, so that's why it was squeezing out and it cracked one of a bushing. I'm a big size rider anyways, but still it kind of pushed the bushings outside and kind of cracked it. That's why we need a cup washer there. We don't need a cup washer here because the groove and the mold of this particular part is nice. Actually, it is well planned. The cast, the die had a pre-designed to hold the bushings already. So this is how the pivot cup looks here. So everything is good. I think it might need some call-in cleaning. That's it. You know how the call-in cleaning is going to go. Anyway, I'll show you guys a little bit of that. And this is the it has a cup washer here. Nice. They have given cup washer for a barrel bushing. The condition seems to be pretty good. And nothing else is there. So this kind of has some angle to it. The base plate and the kingpin, kind of has the angle to it when you compare to the kingpin of the front truck. Do you see the difference? It's almost 90 degrees. This one has an angle. And if you also notice, the riser pads are flat on the rear trucks for the base plate, but the riser pads on the front truck, it's angled. Do you see the angled riser pads? It's inclined this way. So that one makes the kingpin even more straight, almost 90 degrees. So it gives you more carve ability. Even you will need such carving ability on the rear truck. That's why it's close to 90 degrees. It's not angled like the other base plate. Okay, so you see the difference here. So this is amazing. So I'm gonna ask and buy some more time to remove the pivot cup that is there here. Probably I do it very carefully and I don't damage the pivot cups here. Okay, I'm going to remove this and come back to you guys. Give me a few minutes. Oh boy, that was not easy for me to remove the pivot cup from the mold. You know, it took a lot of effort. The screwdriver even knocked off my left hand index finger a couple of times when it slipped off, you know. With the screwdriver, luckily nothing happened, no blood came, but yeah, I had some really rough hit. The screwdriver, that too, it has a flat tip and it's sharp at two edges, so 2 points. Luckily nothing happened, I was good. Probably I have a thick skin like this pivot cup. So good point is like the pivot cups are very thick and they are of probably a very good hardness. I couldn't determine it, but I would grade it to 100A if I have to. So it is not damaged at all. So what happens with the pivot cup is like whenever your hanger is moving, or when you're riding on the truck, as you do the S curve, your board is kind of, it's always like this. Your board is kind of doing this. When you shift left, when you shift right, so your hanger is, you kind of understand, right? Your hanger is also doing its thing, This one is moving this way, this one is moving this way, and a little bit of motion on this side. So your hanger is doing a play here. So the pivot, it has to move inside the pivot as well, like this. So it might damage the mold that is there where the pivot is there. That's why you will need a cup like this. Okay, so that's the actual requirement of it. So what I'm going to do is, I'm going to go off the camera for a couple of minutes and present it to you guys, the entire thing that is we completely dismantled, and we will proceed with the cleaning in the video after that. Okay, give me a small gap. Peace. So guys, we are back again. So this is the board. We dismantled the front truck, the CX truck imitation, the rear truck. So, and we have decided to go ahead and leave the base plate and the riser pads on the board itself. We don't want to dismantle them. The hardwares for cleaning, I feel like it's good there, okay, as it is. So these are the parts which we just dismantled. Okay, so what we are going to do is, we are going to take a look at the dismantled parts. This is the rear truck, the 2 speed washers which goes on the wheel, either side of the wheels, and the corresponding axle nut for either sides. 2 wheels with 2 608Z bearings each side and with the spacers inside. So here's the pivot cup for the hanger and your axle nut, barrel bushing, cone bushing, and couple of cup washers, one for the cone, one for the barrel. So here is the front CX truck imitation, the corresponding bushings. This is the damaged one which we took it from the truck, the kingpin, and we're going to replace it with the good ones. So you have the cup washer and the different type of washers which the factory setup had. Okay, here is the hanger. You have the axle nut for either side, same speed washers which goes on either side of the wheel. So in our case, we are going to mount back the inline skate wheels. So these has 608Z bearings on each side, two of them on each side for each wheel, so 4, and 2 spacers inside for 2 wheels. So here is the kingpin nut, and you have the pivot cup. Okay, pivot cup material is, I think it has to be a plastic or it's also a PU. Okay, so from looking at this, okay, what I understand is most of the axle nuts and the kingpin nuts that you see here, it will have a nylon lining inside. Okay, nylon in the sense like some sort of plastic lining inside to prevent the agitation that it will have while we are riding, as the trucks move, or when the wheel absorbs all the vibrations and everything, the axle nut, the axle nut or the kingpin nut would take all the vibrations, and it might loosen up on the run, over a time, when you are riding up faster or when you're riding up for long distances, this might loosen up a little bit. People use a solution called lock nut before locking all these things. For now, this one, the nylon seems to have worn out here a little bit, but I'll use some sort of, sealant. What I'll do is like tie some thread or put some insulation tape or put some Fevicol, which is used for wood. It won't stick to it, but it will give some sort of glue and kind of grip to it when I tie them to I tied them to the proper hangers or the kingpins. Okay, so that is the thing. These are not sold separately in India. Very unfortunate. You will get axle nuts sold separately for the skateboards, but you won't find the kingpin nut sold separately. They will sell the kingpin along with the kingpin nut. Okay, you will find they will be selling this kingpin. Okay, you can remove them. They'll be selling this kingpin along with the kingpin nuts, and you will not find anything on Decathlon website India as such for the spare parts that you find here. Okay, you might find these wheels, that's how I acquired it. You might find the bearings, that's how I acquired it. But you will not find the speed washers, you will not find the cup washers, you will not find the bushings and everything, which we saw in another episode as well. So I totally request the people who are manufacturing, if you are looking up for an Indian market, which have the huge possibilities, for production and kind of people to buy the stuff, I would request you to sell them separately. People will benefit from it when they want to replace one particular part. You won't find the speed washers either. So that's what I want to say. So these are the dismantled parts. So what is the map or planning for cleaning them? I'm going to use the Colin. You saw it before. So I'm going to use, sorry, I was a little away from the camera. My voice might have gone a little away from the camera as well. So I'm going to use this cleaning liquid Colin spray and wipe the dust that is there on the hangers, base plate, or the board itself, the deck itself. Okay, I'm going to use the cloth to wipe them out. Hope you can pretty much understand the concept of applying this soap and everything. So this has 2 modes, spray and stream. You may not be able to see it because it's molded onto that color. It's not visible here. So one side is close, the other side is spray and stream. So probably I would go ahead and do some streams of the soap. You can see that there is some liquid gathered here. I sprayed it too much just for you to show you guys, because like the spray won't be visible on the screen per se. So I'm going to put that soap solution or the cleaning solution onto this like this, spray them and wipe it with this cloth plainly. So am I going to do for the wheels, and how to remove the bearings and everything. You saw that in another video. We'll do that here as well. You can use this axle nut to take off the bearings if you want. That's one way to do it. That's easy, it will come out easily. So that's the spacer. Or you might even use the pivot cup if it fits the axle. So it did not fix it, it did not go in the 8 mm thing of the bearing. Here 8 mm internal diameter of the bearing, so I'm just using the axle to remove the bearing. So I'm going to remove them like that. The wheels, put some spray. I'm sorry, I was away from the camera because I don't want that soap solution to fall on the bearings. So I remove the bearings like that, put some soap solution. I sprayed some soap solution like this, and I'm going to wipe off the dust that is there on the wheel. Okay, hope you guys understand this concept. This is nothing big of a deal, you know, like it's a very simple method of cleaning them. And with the bearings, I'm just going to use the cloth. This is not a proper cloth as well. I mean proper in the sense like it's not any cloth for cleaning. I just tore a part of my old dhoti, you know, which was tearing apart like this, very old. So I'm going to wipe out all the grease, kind of thick oil, lubricant that is there on the bearing like this. And if need may, I'll put some oil. You know how to put the oil. You might have learned it from my other video. Which video? General purpose maintenance of this Carver's Oxelo Carve 540 Bird Longboard. So you saw a sample of how to clean the wheel and how to remove the bearing from the wheel. Okay, and how to wipe off the dust that is there on the hangers. I'm going to go ahead and repeat that for everything. And with the board here and everything, I'm going to take them off, and you see all the dirt that is there. So I'm going to do the same process. So put some spray and wipe the dust with the cloth. Okay, even for the board that is there, the entire deck. So that is going to be the process. You got to give me some time. I'm going to go ahead, clean all the dust, dirt that is sticking to the wheels, hangers, and my deck, and the base plate and everything, kingpin and everything. I'm going to even remove all the thick stained lubricant that is there, which is giving me this black color in the hands, you know. So I'm going to remove them all, and I'll come back to you guys just in case to show you one sample of applying the lubricant oil to it. Okay, so I'm going to take a break right now. See you guys. I'll be back when I'm done with the cleaning of everything. So just in case I did not show you, I'm going to wipe off all the thick lubricant that is there on the speed washer. So I'm going to put that in the cloth, rotate it like this, and wipe them off. Okay, wipe them off with the thick greasy lubricant that is there on the speed washers. And with the cup washers, I'm going to repeat the same procedures. So if the grease is very thick, probably this is the right time for you guys. You know, you might be having some alcohol based hand sanitizers with you by this time, you know. So put them a little bit. Since they are alcohol based, the thick stains of lubricant will come off easily. Okay, this is kind of rusted a little bit over time, so that's why it's giving that color. But normally when you put some isopropyl alcohol sort of alcohol sanitizers that you have, you know, you can remove the thick stains that is there on the speed washers or the cup washers or any part of the axle nuts or the kingpin nut. Okay, so I'm going to do that for everything and come back to you guys. Peace.